Canelo, there's a lot of articles and social media news floating around saying that you could potentially be negotiating with Terence Crawford directly for a main fight. Any truth to that?
No, I'm working in other things. Now I'm enjoying my family. I'm not talking about boxing yet. So maybe in January we're gonna start doing that.
Where do things stand with Turkey? Turkey said he would like to open a line of communication with you. No middlemen, just you and him.
I never say no to business. So if it is a business for me, I'm open to talk, no matter what.
Anything else for Chula Vista?
No, thank you everybody from Chula Vista. Thank you for your support.
The likelihood of a fight with you and Terence Crawford, it would be one of the biggest in boxing.
We're not talking about yet about the fight. Me and we're gonna know each other, and then we wanna see what happens.
And when do you want to get out next? I know you're here in London tonight. When are you going to be in a camp?
Huh?
When are you going to be in a camp? I know you're here.
Training camp in March.
Okay, so
at the beginning of the middle of the February or March, yeah.
In a significant development for the world of boxing, Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford have officially committed to a highly anticipated super middleweight clash. Scheduled for September 2025, the bout will take place at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. The announcement has ignited massive excitement among fans, as it brings together two of boxing's most decorated athletes in what promises to be a historic encounter.
What's up, fight fans? Some breaking news. This guy, Julius Julianis, who's an ESPN Knockouts reporter, is reporting that the fight isn't only about to be announced, but the contracts are signed between none other than Canelo Alvarez and Bud Crawford. In Julianis' report, he claims that this fight has been signed, sealed, delivered, and it's going down this September in Las Vegas. We know Canelo was in London for the Ring Magazine Awards with Turki Al-Sheikh, seemingly shaking hands as business partners. And just today, as a few hours ago, Bud Crawford landed in London and was seen with Turki Al-Sheikh this September. It's official. What are your thoughts? This headline is all the details the Ring Magazine put out about 2 hours ago. Canelo Alvarez and Bud Crawford, the fight is up. Guys, are they just messing with us for real? Because this is 48 hours removed from them reporting the location. First ever stadium fight, Allegiant Stadium. Even though the fight was 7 months away in September, this in everybody's eyes was going on. And then all of a sudden, the Ring Magazine, Turki Al-Sheikh, releases this with no other details. Canelo Alvarez and Bud Crawford in September is off.
This blockbuster fight was officially agreed upon in January 2025, paving the way for what is expected to be an unforgettable event. Canelo Alvarez, the reigning undisputed super middleweight champion, enters the ring with a remarkable record of 62 wins, 2 defeats, and 2 draws, with 39 of those victories coming by knockout. His opponent, Terence "Bud" Crawford, remains unbeaten with 41 wins, 31 of which were knockouts, and currently holds the title of undisputed welterweight champion. This fight marks Crawford's ambitious jump to the super middleweight class as he aims to further cement his legacy by facing Alvarez.
All right, let's talk Canelo Crawford, Jake Paul again. Let's try and give a timeline of events. So on Tuesday, Ring Magazine confirmed that Canelo Crawford was on for September 13th, Raiders Stadium. That's what we got on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we started hearing whispers of Jake Paul. It sounded crazy at the time. I did a video on it. I said that's impossible. But then those whispers became louder and louder and louder. On Thursday, Ring Magazine reported that Canelo Crawford was off. Thursday evening, so just after me and G-Man had filmed, we got reports that Jake Paul versus Canelo, or Canelo versus Jake Paul, was very much a real thing and was close to being signed off, and that would have happened on Netflix. About 2 hours later, we got confirmation that Canelo versus Jake Paul is now not a thing and is off, and that Canelo has signed a 4-fight deal with Riyadh Season, and Turkey went on social media talking about he's the lion and don't mess with the lion and things like that, which I thought was quite funny. Canelo versus Crawford is now back on, and that will happen in September. Canelo versus Jake Paul is now off and won't happen for at least another couple of years. Yeah, I think that's what.
Jake Paul recently voiced criticism toward Canelo Alvarez for entering a 4-fight agreement with Riyadh Season, which ultimately led to the cancellation of their much-anticipated matchup. Paul accused Alvarez of evading difficult challengers like Terence Crawford, attributing his actions to mounting public pressure. He went as far as to claim Alvarez is now a slave to Riyadh Season, implying that financial motivations heavily influenced Alvarez's decision to avoid more competitive opponents.
Oh, Canelo, you puta.
And this fucking YouTuber. I just fight real fighters.
Time to expose him. So we had a signed contract to fight. Here you can see Canelo's signature and my signature to the right. Claiming he's not fighting YouTubers. Bullshit. Look at the poster. We were announcing Tuesday, February 11th. Claiming he fights real fighters, but he's fighting Crawford, a 135-pound fighter, and running from a real fighter like David Benavidez, you bitch. The truth is you can be bought. You're a money-hungry squirrel chasing your next nut. The truth is these sports-washing shady characters are paying you hundreds of millions of dollars to stop our fight from happening because they couldn't fathom the fact that they can't create a bigger fight than me and you. Al Heyman has made you hundreds of millions of dollars and you turned your back on him for this check. Disloyal. And you were begging to do this fight on pay-per-view. But I have loyalty. Loyalty to Netflix, doing the biggest numbers. And you call me a YouTuber, but you've never had a boxing match as big as mine. Remember you told my team that your daughter came home and asked if you were fighting Jake Paul? She was all excited. You said that was the first time your daughter's ever asked you about a fight. And you're screwing over all your Mexican fans by doing your fights in Saudi. It just shows what type of person you are. And I promise you one thing, Canelo. Any fight that you do this year, mine will be bigger. So go fuck off to your boss, you Ring Magazine employee, you pink and orange bitch. And oh, fix that herpes on your lip, you dirty puta.
During a recent live press conference, Canelo Alvarez delivered a bold statement directed at Terence Crawford, reaffirming his dominance in the super middleweight division. "This is my territory," Alvarez proclaimed. "Crawford is a great fighter, but coming into my division presents a whole different challenge. I'm prepared to prove why I'm the champion here." Alvarez's confident remarks underscore his resolve to defend his titles against a talented adversary stepping up in weight class.
How is Crawford going to be able to bridge this weight gap?
I don't think he can, in all honesty. I mean,
Yeah.
he might not be able to bridge it on Saturday.
Yeah.
So,
one
but
weight class.
68, yeah, but you're coming up from 35. 35, 40, 47, 54. Sooner or later, it's one too many. And 68 is definitely too many. But Crawford's brilliant. Like, he's a genius. He's a generational great. So maybe he can find a way to do it. But I feel he'd be hugely outsized against Canelo Alvarez. Yeah. But you have to use your movement. If you're Terence Crawford in that fight, the last thing you want to do is stand and trade. He'd be moving a lot in that fight, trust me. I'm not saying he'd be running, but he would be moving a lot. Of course, that's the way to beat him.
Yeah.
You know.
Canelo Alvarez, celebrated for his strength and tactical flexibility, is considered among the top pound-for-pound fighters globally. On the flip side, Terence Crawford, a champion across 4 weight divisions, brings remarkable speed, accuracy, and adaptability to the ring. This stylistic contrast between the two has fans buzzing in anticipation of what's shaping up to be one of the year's most significant boxing spectacles.
When Terence Crawford said that he moved up and won, and Canelo moved up and lost.
They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won.
I don't think that was a strong point because Canelo Alvarez actually moved up and won. I mean, he moved up a lot of weight classes, but if you want to talk about light heavyweight, he moved up and he beat Cobra. Then he moved up again and he lost to Bivol. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, he moves up to 154. He won 115, 113, but it was just an 11-0 Madrimov who didn't really have much of a resume, right? But there's a difference, to be real. I mean, Bivol is a Hall of Fame. Okay, this guy, all-time light heavyweight. It's a bit different. Canelo did knock out Kovalev when he did move up. Okay, and Kovalev is a bigger challenge at light heavyweight than Madrimov at 154 for Terence Crawford. Let's just keep it a bit.
Still a commanding presence in the super middleweight division, Canelo Alvarez boasts an outstanding 62-2 record. His consistent success in heavier weight categories, backed by his power, agility, and veteran experience, makes him a formidable threat for any challenger. Former title holder Sean Porter has expressed doubts about how well Terence Crawford can handle the force behind Canelo's punches, especially given the Mexican star's known ability to deliver punishing shots. Porter questions whether Crawford can endure such power, particularly with the considerable leap in weight class. His concerns echo a broader uncertainty about Crawford's ability to withstand the physical toll of facing a naturally bigger, stronger foe.
The others say, like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam. But, you know, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo had, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another, you know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out, you know what I mean? So,
Mikey Garcia, a former champion in 4 weight divisions, has given his insights on the upcoming Canelo Alvarez vs. Terence Crawford showdown. Garcia is of the opinion that Alvarez's size and power will significantly influence the outcome. While he acknowledged Crawford's elite-level skill, Garcia pointed out the notable disparity in size as a potential hurdle. He emphasized that Alvarez has been fighting comfortably at 168 pounds for several years, whereas Crawford has only recently ventured into the 154 pounds category and encountered challenges there.
I'm not even a fan of that fight. They're too many weight classes apart. And although the skills, Crawford is one of the best fighters that I've seen. Now, Canelo is, you know, fighting at 168. Crawford just moved up to 154, and he has some trouble with that in that fight. Now, where do you plan on going? 164, 65, 66? Canelo ain't gonna come down to 160.
Yeah,
Canelo ain't gonna come down, you know, maybe 166 max if he accepts. I think Canelo wins that fight based on just the size, you know, power and size. Now, skill-wise, I think Crawford's a better skilled fighter, but the difference in size will be the deciding factor, and that's why I'm not even a fan of that fight. I think Crawford has accomplished everything he had to accomplish from 140, 147, now 154. That's even greater for him. He wants to do something, collect belts at 154, he can attempt that. But there's no money in that compared to the Canelo fight. And Canelo is trying to fight other guys, and you know, at that point it's more of a big fight, you know, for the money that's gonna generate. But as a fight fan, I'm not really a fan of that matchmaking. I'd rather see Canelo move up and fight somebody like Bitterbeef or Bivol again. If he wanted to challenge himself, move up to 175 again, and challenge himself against those guys. Not a smaller guy moving up.
Trainer Joel Diaz expressed strong belief in Canelo Alvarez's preparedness to face Terence Crawford. While recognizing Crawford's esteemed reputation as arguably the best pound-for-pound fighter, Diaz focused on Canelo's distinct set of skills and extensive preparation, stressing that Alvarez is more than capable of rising to the occasion.
A lot of people that say that Crawford can beat Canelo, no problem. I mean, I respect that, but I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw Canelo Alvarez fighting Amir Khan. Now, look at this. Terence Crawford moved from 47 to 54 to fight Madrimov. What did he do to Madrimov? Nothing. Okay, Madrimov was a 54-pounder. Now, to move up to 168, that's 2 more divisions. Canelo Alvarez will take any punch from Crawford, but I don't think Crawford will take any punches from Canelo. Remember, Canelo got hit by Triple G, the heaviest hitter in that division. And Canelo took those shots like a champ. I don't think Crawford has anything to beat Canelo.
When you say, I want Canelo, is there anybody in the camp that would say, you're not ready for this?
That's a big boy. He's strong. It's a conversation. It's not just, oh man, you will whoop his ass.
Like, yes, man type stuff.
Yeah. I'm not worried about Canelo. I'm not thinking about Canelo. I'm just focused on Israel Madrimov.
In a small way, is this a stepping stone to your dream fight?
I don't look at fights as stepping stones. It's about now.
Former world champion Demetrius Andrade acknowledged Terence Crawford's brilliance but believes Canelo Alvarez holds the upper hand due to his size advantage and familiarity with higher weight divisions. Andrade foresees Crawford encountering difficulty with Canelo's mix of power and movement. As Crawford steps up 2 full weight classes for this fight, he faces a daunting challenge. In his most recent bout, he fought at 154 pounds and secured a hard-earned decision win over Israel Madrimov. Though he showcased talent and adaptability at that weight, leaping to 168 pounds introduces a different kind of trial. In this division, he'll face boxers who aren't just heavier, but also naturally stronger and more seasoned at that level.
Be great. That'll be 3 times. If you go 154 and win the belt, that's 3 times super. Then I said, chase super greatness. Come on, Canelo, 160.
Well, if he can get in there with Charlo in like his next 2 fights, where he's still got age on his side, then maybe go up again. Like if he's trying to chase the greatness, but I mean he already done something that's never been done. Charlo don't want none of that smoke.
Terence Crawford, I see he wants to fight. He's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better. No, Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He's a good fighter, but like I say, he's weight classes for a reason. I'm focused 100% on Berlanga, and you never know what happened.
Yeah.
In contrast to past matchups where Terence Crawford's sharp technique, speed, and accuracy often gave him the upper hand, his bout against a physically imposing opponent like Canelo Alvarez could nullify some of those strengths. Canelo's power, resilience, and deep experience at super middleweight pose a daunting obstacle, compelling Crawford to refine both his physical conditioning and tactical plan. Making the jump to this division to challenge Canelo represents a significant leap. The shift comes with new hurdles, such as adjusting to opponents who carry more strength and size. While Crawford's ring mastery is unquestionable, skepticism lingers about whether his own punching power and toughness will hold up against someone as naturally large and seasoned as Alvarez.
Just a few weeks ago, you heard what Terence Bud Crawford had to say on why he wants to take on Saul Canelo Alvarez.
I just want the opportunity, to fight the best fighter in my generation that's out there. He's the most accomplished fighter, and I would just like to, fight another great.
Which is a very noble reason. I mean, it's a reason that I can get behind. If you notice, his primary reason isn't money. He did say it'd be the biggest fight, which, you do want a big fight, but I don't think he meant monetarily, which the money comes, okay? But what he's saying is he want to test himself versus the best. And I think he's telling the truth here, right? Of course you want big money and stuff like that, but I think his swan song is just him testing himself up against the very best. Those are the reasons the war room can get behind.
Trainer Robert Garcia has also weighed in, forecasting a victory for Canelo Alvarez. Though he hasn't elaborated on his reasoning, his stance reflects the widespread opinion favoring Canelo. Garcia stated that if Terence Crawford accepts the bout, it would largely be for the enormous financial reward it offers. In his view, Crawford has already cemented both his legacy and financial security, meaning he has little obligation to take this fight. However, if the clash does occur, Garcia expects Crawford to hold his own in the early going, likely remaining competitive through the first 6 to 8 rounds. He respects Crawford's elite technique, intelligence in the ring, and overall strength, which could make the initial exchanges highly competitive.
Robert, what's a smart bet on Crawford Canelo? Canelo by knockout or Canelo by decision?
Crawford by decision. And you have to bet?
Yes.
I say Canelo by decision. Crawford by decision. No, but you say Canelo by knockout or Canelo?
Yeah, no, because I'm saying that's what's going to happen. Canelo's going to beat him. But which one?
No, man. Crawford is fucking exactly. I've always been saying, I think Canelo at the end, obviously his strength, his weight,
experience,
probably takes over. But I wouldn't be surprised if Crawford just fucking boxes and fights smart and beats him.
He's probably gonna be 40-1 underdog or something crazy like that, right? It's not gonna be close.
Oh, it's gonna be close.
3 weight classes?
3-4-1. ¿No crees?
Nah.
It's not gonna be that big of a difference. No.
When you pick the knockout? No, when you pick the knockout?
You pick a knockout. But if it's just
who wins straight out?
I think it's gonna be maybe 3-1, 4-1. Maybe that's too much. Maybe 2-1. Maybe 2-1.
I don't think so.
I'm telling you.
So they finally announced Ryu's fight. Gary Russell, what do you think? Not an easy fight? No easy fights in this level? It's gonna be, finally you guys will be, the first time you're ever going to a Tank fight, right? To work a corner?
Work a corner at Tank's fight.
It's Tank's the main event.
The upcoming face-off between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford is shaping up to be a defining moment in boxing history. Alvarez's strength and proven track record in the super middleweight category will be tested against Crawford's nimbleness, technical brilliance, and unblemished record. Fans and pundits alike are intrigued to see how Crawford adapts to the demands of a higher weight class, as well as how Canelo responds when confronted by a fighter of Crawford's skill and speed.
He's gonna be the greatest. You know what I'm saying? Floyd, it was Floyd, and then it's gonna be Terence Crawford. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what's on the line with that fight, right? Canelo and Terence is whose era is it? Right?
Nah.
I think Canelo had his time.
Yeah, Canelo had his
our
time. Yeah.
Just go submit our time.
Yeah, for sure.
What made Bomac such a great trainer?
He can adapt to any style, bro. Like, he can adapt to any style. First of all, like DB3, we all got different styles. And he all been making this better in our own style. He got Troy Eisen. Troy Eisen is a different style. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, he got Avius Griffin. Avius Griffin is a different style. Of course, y'all know Jamel Herring and Terence Crawford. All different styles. And he make these fighters great. He can adapt to any style. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes him.
Do you believe that Canelo's physicality and punching power will ultimately overwhelm Crawford in the later stages of the bout? Or will Crawford's intelligence and strategy be enough to secure him the win? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to TKOH for more knockout content. From fight breakdowns to real-time reactions, we've got it all right here. Until next time, stay sharp, stay strong, and keep your guard up.